All right. So we're going to be talking about the third manip that I found for the RNG in the game in relation to Bombland. This manip is particularly powerful uh, because it allows us to do a few pretty interesting things. In particular, we can use the seed that we create in Jungle Land here to tangent into a few different things. Let's go ahead and get started. With previous versions of this manip, you had to enter a couple menus, or at least one menu, in order to set the proper starting seed. With this manip, you only need to reset the console and go straight into new game. Select your character and go. Much like the previous manip, we need to get through Jungle Land and not aggro any hedgehogs. We also can't stop moving for any real periods of time, or RNG will slowly increment by 3. So do Jungle Land however you want to do it, but keep those parameters in mind. Even that shouldn't mess with it, realistically. It could. The various noises in Jungle Land do affect the seed, but I don't think it will. I'll know once we get to the fish. So yeah, just go through Jungle Land. Don't aggro any of the hedgehogs. If we did it correctly, I'll know right now. Yeah, we're fine. I'll go ahead and hit a save state here. So, here is the first change in the route, and it'd be at the end of this fight. At some point over the course of this fight, we need to get an extra butterfly. This is a little risky, but it's not that bad, really. Better than having to get 2. And you need the number to say 667 on the corner of the screen leaving Jungle Land for this whole process to function. And upon entering Bombland, you should see 687. So let's talk about Bombland leading up to the first bridge room. Again, we don't want to do any stops. And we want to make sure we hit all the missile grabs. And we want to make sure we hit that top block there, because any falling block will increment the RNG. So in this room, we now have 699 coming in. This allows us to get the first warp on the plank. So, you've done Manip 3, and you've gotten to the first bridge room and successfully carried it all the way. That has you entering with 699. There are a few different things you can do in this situation. You can do top level play, or a couple of different intermediate variations. We're going to talk about top level play first, as it's the most involved in terms of some particulars. So for top level play, you want to come in, do the bridge warp like normal, and you want to leave with 725. You can do a couple different plank configurations to achieve a 725, but ultimately, we need 725 exiting this room. So let's do it again. What I like to do personally is just stay on that one plank. And, of course, we have to get the grab. That is part of our count. So if you miss the grab, the manip is dropped, unfortunately. You could also come to the second plank as well and make that part of your count so that you could skip these last 2. That is also a potential route here, so to speak. See there? I hit way too many planks. So, once you have 725 coming in here, there's some particulars in this room as well, much like all the manips. Although the particulars in here are a lot less strenuous. First of all, with the other manips, there are certain points where you either have to do a jump shot to facilitate less blocks falling. You have to sack a moment of time in order to make sure that each count is properly accounted for and occurs. We don't actually have to do that on this manip. In fact, we're counting on those checks not happening. So you want to see 735 going onto this pillar. You want to do trapezzle successfully. But you just simply shoot the bottom quickly, twice in a row. We do a jump shot there. And this has us leaving the room with 746. Which is certainly our goal. Now, once we leave that room with 746, everything's in pretty good shape for us to pull off the full manip. The only other thing that needs to occur is we have to get to this room here before a particular part in the music. If we do, you'll see a transition to 947 upon entry. Now, one unfortunate thing is we'll always get a bomb buddy. But if you assume that you're hitting the clip first try regardless, getting a bomb buddy is entirely negligible. So if you get here on time, the bomb buddy is your sign that the manip is successful. And you can simply carry it the rest of the way through the stage. Now, let's rewind back to Bridge 1 and talk about other intermediate type manipulations you can do with this particular seed. So, you get to this room with 699, you've carried the manip all the way here. Let's say that you're not really interested in doing the bridge warps. They seem pretty risky to you, they don't save a lot of time. And let's say that you kind of want to do a bit of an easier version of this level, but still maybe mess around with this RNG manipulation stuff and use it to save some time, because it's not that complex up to this point. And you're right, it isn't. So, what can we do? Well, one thing we can do with 699 is we can just walk straight through the room. We do need to grab one cannonball. It doesn't matter if we take damage. And we're going to be leaving here with 752 on the clock. And when we come into here, we again want to go through as quick as possible, do a jump shot here, but we only want to grab 2 missiles. Let's say that you don't even care about trapezzle. And this is important. With this route, you won't be able to do trapezzle. It has us entering this room with 770. What can we do with that, you might ask? Well, if we manage to get across... There we are. Then we get to this room. And let's say we don't want to do the clip. It will always be that block with this particular seed. So we can call this perhaps some sort of lower level intermediate seed. Basically, if you just walk straight across the entire plank and come into this room with 652, and then you do this room quickly, but don't do trapezzle. Do the jump shot here. And we leave here, again, with 770. We'll get through this room as normal. Whatever way you normally prefer to. Just don't eat that missile. Then we come into this room. 100% of the time, it'll be that second block. Interestingly enough, we can even sort of do a bit of a warp with that route too, on that second plank, if desired, with that particular seed configuration.